Good morning, everyone. And here, your host, Shashi from Women Dialogue. She's connecting with you from Canada, Vancouver, after a long, long time. I'm aware we have taken a little break, but I think it's a worth because the way we are connecting today with our new speaker, you will find the way was worth and very precious. The way we are going to bring our today's speaker. Our today's speaker, she's connecting with us from Edmonton, Alberta, Vahen King, and she is the person who is bringing a lot of energy, a lot of motivation to you. She is the first ever Miss Wheelchair Canada and went on to win the title of Miss Kindness World as well. Vahen King, she is the 2021 Women of Inspirational and Inspiration and Influencer Award winner with the Universal Women Network. She has many more to share with you, and I hope she will be sharing with us as well more about it. Let's go and welcome our today's speaker, Vahen King. Welcome, Vahen, on our global Women Dialogue podcast, which is sharing women to women global voice. And we are really excited to have you.
Well, Soshi, thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
So, Vahen, when we are talking about you are first ever Miss Wheelchair Canada. You are World Miss Kindness, and such a beautiful award, such a highly recognized titles you have received. Share about you first. Let's start talking about you, and please go ahead and tell about yourself.
Me, well, you know what? I wanted to answer this is I wanted to tell you where my roots are. Like I grew up in a small town, Newfoundland, and I was that little girl with red hair and freckles with a big personality, and so that was me, just that little redhead who just, I think, love the spotlight. My mom, I think, mentioned that I was born with a mirror and a mic in my hand. So, just
Wow.
big personality with big dreams and wanted to, I always felt like I wanted to do something big and I had no idea what that was or if it was even possible. But yeah, I just was that little little redhead with a big personality.
Wow. That sounds interesting, and I think that having that sense like as a big personality you are today, and you are following that path still from your childhood. We can see how you envision, how you are making it true in your life. So what way you define and what way you shared some of your childhood and your memorable moments, how you
you could go many different ways, but I know people love stories. And in this day and age right now, I believe people love to laugh. So just to give you a little glimpse of who I was, even through some of the things I'm going to share today, I want to tell you this story. I don't know what grade I was in exactly. I might have been, I don't know, maybe in grade 1, 2, or 3, somewhere in around that time frame. And I developed, or I got, I don't know if you've heard of or know what head lice is. It's like, just there was an epidemic in the school or whatever, and I got head lice. And so the nurse called my mom and said, listen, you got to come and you got to get your daughter because she can't go home on the bus, right? So, well, my mom, when she got to the school to get me, where was I? I was at the back of the bus. I left the school and I went to the bus, and at the back of the bus, I stood up and with my arms raised way above my head with the bottle of serum or whatever the nurse gave me. Mom, I got the crawlers. I was so excited that I had something that not everyone else had. I was just like, are you serious? And I just thought it was the greatest thing. No one else had this. It was so exciting.
Wow.
I didn't know
Right?
it was a bad thing,
Exactly, but the way you tip that convention and in your life, like, no, this is something others don't have, but I have. That's something.
I look at that, I think about that little girl and I thought, you know what? I was born to embrace challenges, apparently. But more importantly, I think I love to laugh, and I always knew I wanted to encourage others. And so like that little crazy story was about like looking at your situation differently than what everyone else sees it. And today, even though I'm an adult, a few years older than that little Vahen, I still view some of my circumstances like that, you know, with the whole journey that we're going to unpack today, is that some would look at it and be like, what in the world, right? But I would look at it now and say, like, it's an honor. Yeah, it's a tough journey. It's been a tough journey, which we'll unpack. But you know what? It's given me the ability to encourage others, which is, I think, segue into the next question that you're.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And as you are trying to unpack what you do, what you are, and I think it's trying to reflect. Sorry, trying to reflect in quite some, but still we would like to ask you. So, what are you doing now?
Wow. Well, I'm an author and I speak, and as you had already acknowledged some of my titles, but you know, so when I won that last award, Woman of Inspiration Influencer Award, which is an award given to someone with global influence, to sum up, and that was such an honor. So as a woman who's also a person with a disability, who also now runs a nonprofit with the mission to ignite, empower, and equip others, like that is truly remarkable, because that dream that I had isn't only a dream anymore. It's my live reality, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm living my dream of inspiring others to go farther, which is the name of my nonprofit organization, which I'm doing now.
Wow, that's really inspirational. And Vahen, when you are talking about, you mentioned, you know, bringing other people and giving them sense, even though you understood and you never took your disability as a, you know, putting yourself down, but as a challenge to grow further. How you are doing that, and what way you are seeing other people, they have to understand that when they found themselves, or maybe in their circle somewhere.
Well, I think first of all, I'd like to say that when I became like a person with a disability, and struggled, like I struggled like a huge amount in that transition, right? And so I don't want people to get it twisted to think that, you know, I got this right from the very beginning, because I struggled with low self-esteem. I struggled with loss of purpose. Like, what will my life look like now? Like, I feel broken. I feel like worth less than I did before. So how can I inspire others now when I feel like that I'm not even worth having? And I'll stop there and tell you that the week before I ended up in the hospital struggling for my life was actually one of the best moments of my life, because I had just gotten engaged. I was engaged to the man I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And so, man, my life was going good. You know, I looking ahead to my future and, you know, where we wanted to be, and it looked promising. And so now, a week later, I'm sitting in a hospital bed, not knowing, right, if I was going to live or die, really. The doctors had brought me into an emergency room, testing my vitals and my reflexes. And within half a day, I was paralyzed from the chest down. And they said, you know, after 2 weeks of tests, they finally diagnosed me with transverse myelitis. It's a virus that attacks the myelin sheath in your spinal cord. And they said, you have transverse myelitis. They didn't see me as being independent, never mind walking again or anything like that. And you're going to need full-time care forever. And like, that was all just way too much. But my biggest question, even in that, was, do I still have a fiance? You know, so let me tell you, the journey of where I was and walking through that was hell, right? Like it was
Yeah.
traumatizing. It was all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I unpack a lot of it in my book. I have the two books. One is the life, like talking about me as that kid and that journey up to and through that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also unpacked the how. How in the world was I able to overcome that? And to answer in some tidbits of information today is one, well, first of all, I want to tell you that that man who proposed, he stayed.
Oh,
But
wow.
yes, because I did ask him, I'm like, do I still have a fiance? So I said, this is a game changer. This is not what you signed up for.
Right.
And do you still want to marry me?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yes.
Wow. I was just waiting, like what Vahen is going to share with us, because I was feeling little in my heart, something like, okay, I don't know, right? But yes.
Yes, spoiler alert, he did stay, and he's an amazing, amazing man who I love dearly. And honestly, we're stronger today than the day we said I do. But back to the original question, how was I, or how am I able to stay strong? How was I able to go from that traumatizing life experience to now? And there's a lot of many steps where you go through constantly and you get it wrong, you get back up, you get it wrong, you fall down, you get back up, right? But first of all, accepting my new reality. Like, I am now a person with a disability, and this ain't going to go away overnight, right? And as much as I went to physio and did my thing and whatnot, I had to accept my new reality because I didn't like the person I was seeing. I didn't like it. And I'm not going to drive until I can drive with my feet, right? Like those kind of things. And so accepting my new reality and finding another way to do life, finding another way to view myself, and something very, very simple. And I'll just say, because, again, I like stories. I said I didn't want to drive until I can drive with my feet. Right. But then I started seeing other people with far less mobility than me driving, going around distance. I wanted desperately to be independent, but I didn't want to do it differently. I didn't want to do it differently, and it was keeping me stuck, right? So I'm like, you know what, forget this. I started, I got my driver's license again, started driving with my hand controls. Yeah. And I was like, you guys, when I drove to the mall for the first time on my own, or, driving around with my friends or whatever, that was life-changing. I felt, wow, if I did this thing that I didn't want to do, but yet it was giving me more independence. And I thought, man, if I could do that, what else can I do? And so, just keep doing things that I didn't think I could do. And I also talk a lot about ditching our I can't. Right. I mean, I was literally told, Vahen, you can't walk again. You are not going to be independent. You're going to need full-time care and all those things. And to be honest, out of all those voices of telling me that I can't do something, biggest barrier, you're looking at her, this person right here. Right. And so how you start, you accept your new reality, you ditch those I can't mentalities. Yes, you embrace, you feel all the emotions, right? You feel all the emotions, you allow yourself to feel. I also talk about the grief process in my journey. And also another huge piece of how I was able to move forward is we got to do all those practical things. But for me, my faith, and really it forced my faith out into the open. It forced me, like, I did not have the strength in my own self. Like, yeah, I'm a stubborn redhead and I got some fight in me, but it wasn't until I was really truly able to, like, grasp to something bigger than me that I was able to really truly thrive in life to where I am now.
Yeah, I think that's truly inspirational. And the way it's kind of, I see like it's unpacking yourself in a new form, because from the way you start understanding your strength, the way you start, analyzing and realizing you can do more than even the normal ones, right? And that's like great. So, Vahen, when we talk about it, you share initial your challenges, initial your struggles, but further coming out from those challenges and struggles, you are thriving. You are everywhere. I can see that you are a lot of stage on a lot of places. You are inspiring and motivating people. Did you find in this career journey some low moments or something like that?
How long do you have? I'm going to say like low moments. Absolutely. It was like, there's always going to be a struggle. Let me tell you something. Oh, there's so much I want to say on this, but I'm going to tell you something that will, I guess, give people a glimpse of my whole journey. I could not envision my future. Like when you lose someone close to you, it's like I've lost so much in my life. I've lost my health, my independence, and all those things, right? So much loss. And when I had to walk through then losing my father-in-law to cancer back in 2017, right? That was yet another challenge. I'm like, really? Like, seriously, come on. Like, how are we going to move forward in a life with missing like a big piece, right? And I know that with loss, that's what happens. Things come that we feel this void and we feel this loss. And so how do you replace that? How do you move forward? And so do I have low moments? Yes. But when you experience this big trauma and you understand how to feel that with something healthy, it does allow you to get back up sooner. And so when I went to be with my family for my father-in-law's funeral, as we were preparing for that, I came across something that he wrote in his notes. I just, wanted to be close to him, or, just because I always love listening to his stories. He's the ultimate storyteller. And when I saw the headline, and this is like, I have embraced this in my life. And as soon as I saw this headline, "Don't waste your suffering," it was like, you want to look away from that car wreck, but you can't, kind of situation. I knew that this was going to be life-changing for me. And I kept reading. Don't waste your suffering. There will be trials, sufferings, and incalculable loss. The truth is, we will suffer one crisis only to weather another. And he's like, goes on to say, lean into them. Lean into your suffering. I was like, that's next level. But that is exactly what I started learning to do. Lean into that discomfort, lean into your suffering and embrace it and grow from it. But I never anywhere read that you had to like it, because he says a crisis, trauma is an unwelcomed. It's unwelcomed. It's not fair. It sucks. An unwelcome struggle or circumstance is something that comes that gives us the ability to grow and learn something new about ourselves or our Heavenly Father. And so in light of that, when I say I have a bad day today, like when you get hurt by a friend or when you lose somebody, like the pain of that is still, like, it's not minimizing any of that pain. It's not minimizing the chaos that's happening now. Like all of those things, there's going to be one thing after another. Maybe life will go along good for a little while, but there's always going to be something to take you down. But the thing is, I get back up a lot quicker. Or I maybe look at a situation and be like, that ain't my fight. Right? Because and I'm digressing a little bit, but I think that just to throw in a blanket of when I have a down day, because sometimes some of my down days, some of my struggles are a result of my poor choices, or a result of something that I shouldn't have even been involved in the first place. And so understanding and knowing that frees you up next level.
Yeah.
Gives you another level of freedom that you can truly thrive.
So, Vahen, this is truly, truly full of, encouragement, motivation. And when we are listening your own story, where from, your challenges, you start learning through those challenges and understanding how these movements can be a more inspirational and motivational, and how you can reach to the next level. What message would you like to give to our audience?
Oh, what message? I talk a lot about ditching our I can't mentalities. Yes. But today, I talked about my father-in-law, which I didn't expect to talk about. So actually it's ironic because I want to end with sharing a life lesson that I learned from him, that I actually hinted on just in my last question, that I believe will really help our viewers if we can embrace it. And it's a life lesson or a bit of wisdom that I'd like to pass on to you, that my father-in-law really helped me. I didn't like it, but he really helped me when he shared this information. So it might seem simple and whatever, but it's actually really profound. Do not lend or give anything to someone with either expectations or if you want it back. Does that make sense? So let me explain something to you. Sashi, you say, Vahen, I really need $1,000. Like, I'm really strapped. I really need this money. Like, are you able to help me out? Now, I have a choice to make.
Right.
Can I? And if I give you that money and I don't get it back, what does that do between me and you?
Right.
Right? So I'll take that again with, I feel to encourage someone, or I want to give someone my time, right? I'm going to spend the day with so-and-so because I felt like they really needed the encouragement.
Right.
But what about the response to you about what you've done is not what you were expecting? What does that do for you? Right. And that person? There's that wedge, that animosity that comes when you give something away, and whether it's a word of encouragement or money or whatever it is, if you put expectations on it, it's just going to cause layer and layer of animosity and stress and all this stuff, right? But if I truly can't afford to get rid of that $1,000 or whatever, right, then just let it go. Yeah. And that way we build relationships. I'm like, Sashi, I was really honored to do that for you. And I don't want to put this strain on a relationship because I love you more than that $1,000, to be honest. Right. And so just feel blessed and we move on. Do you see the difference of that scenario?
Yeah. So I think in that case, if I would like to add with your message to our audience, expect less and just give. Is it right way if I'm
that is really, really good. When we say it's better, more blessed to give than to receive, but like don't expect less. Like we want to dream big, we want to have big expectations, but not have too many expectations on others. So that's what you were meaning, right? Not have too many expectations on a relationship.
Right. That's so true. And I think that builds up a further true relationship, whether it is professional or personal in anyone's life.
Yes, absolutely. So good. This is so good.
So, Vahen, we hear from you, your life, your journey. You are recognized by a lot of places, by a lot of big awards. In even 2021, you received a Women of Influencer and Influential Women Award. It needs a lot of energy and all, but same time we are on today on Women Dialogue platform, where we try to bring voice for women and by women. How you see that and how you feel we are doing?
Wow. Well, first of all, Dr. Sashi, I love that you're having conversations with women like in over 73 countries and over 6 continents. Like, that is to be commendable, like to take on such a project. And but what I'm also seeing more than that is how you love to celebrate you know, your fellow women, and that is commendable, because that's something that, you know, we need to do more. And even with the Women of Inspiration Award, I love that that's another space created for women to celebrate each other. And so in these spaces, we get to make some good connections. You know,
Right.
my husband said, and this is what I'll end with, is that good friends or good connections are like money in the bank. It's more valuable and it goes farther, and it's all, you know.
Wow. I mean, that's the best thing, and I love the way you are summarizing and sum up our conversation for today. And I think with this same way, with this same energy, and with this same motivation enough, our audience will be carrying this message as well, and they would be making their life better each moment to grow and to develop themselves and to others. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Vahen, for giving your time to inspiring and motivating our audience, as well as sharing your life. Thank you.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.